Yesterday, I also introduced this very interesting slide concerning the order of operations, let's say, because the order of operations is also something we can play with, let's say. Level of details will make it possible to calculate a few steps before or a few steps after we are doing other steps in Tableau as well. Let's say we are filtering our visualization as well. So filtering will be done often on a dates basis or on let's say you're only responsible for certain regions in your company and you only want to look at those numbers and analyze those. So filtering is very often used, let's say, on bigger data sets, and level of detail calculations make it possible to force Tableau to calculate stuff upfront, being that a filtering will not influence that calculation. So if we go from left to right, we will go over those different steps up until the point we come across our LODs. So we have the main data coming in. We are doing some very first step filtering, being on a data source level almost, let's say. And then we come across the fifth step, being our context filters. And those context filters are a very powerful feature, being that if you are making calculations based on the values you are going to filter, and that is going to be a context filter, that filtering is going to influence your LODs as well. So if you want to put full capability of flexibility and filtering with your end user, and also the end user can influence the results of your very specific and specified fixed calculations, being those LODs, then you put that on context filter. The first LOD that then pops up, and the one that is the most to the left, so that Tableau picks up earlier than other calculations, is the fixed LOD expression. So then you create values that are not going to be influenced anymore later on in other steps, being the creation of sets, which is another kind of filtering, let's say, or let's say a dynamic grouping capability or of sorts, and those dimensional filters being the filters most widely used. So dimensional filters come after fixed LOD calculations. So if you are filtering at that point in time on your visualization itself, it will not influence the value that is generated by that fixed LOD. After those dimensional filters are our include and exclude LODs. Those include and exclude LODs, they are influenced by dimensional filters. So if you start changing your visualization and you're taking away values by filtering, those include and exclude LODs, the results of those calculations are going to change. So just to indicate where our three different types of LOD calculations fit in the full process of Tableau in the end generating our visualizations. This is really a very interesting sheet. Let's say if you type into Google Order of Operations, it's created by one of our very own consultants as well. It's very interesting, very thorough. You can print it out and put it next to your desk if you're a heavy Tableau user, because you will go to it a few times, let's say, to analyze why Tableau sometimes does what you don't want it to do, or when it does something surprisingly well and you want to know what the reason of that surprisingly well behavior is, let's say. So look it up, print it out, and look at it many more times in the future.